She has 10 suitors on her phone right now, all of them better looking, richer, or funnier than you. But Machiavelli would teach you a brutal lesson. You don't need to be the best to be the chosen one. In fact, trying to be the best is exactly why you lose. There is a psychological strategy so powerful that it makes a woman with infinite options stop seeing them and only see you. It's not what you think, it's not what you've been taught, and it's definitely not what the other 9 guys are doing. That psychological strategy that makes her forget the other 9 has a name: the Machiavellian principle of inverted power. And here's the truth that's going to hurt. Every time you compete for her attention, you've already lost. Do you know what happens when you text her faster than the others? You become the messenger. When you compliment her more than the others, you become admirer number 11. When you strive to be perfect, you end up being predictable. Machiavelli wrote it clearly. It is better to be feared than loved, but never to be despised. In the game of seduction, being predictable is to be despised. Every instant reply, every good morning, beautiful. Every attempt to impress her places you in the same category, desperate applicants. She becomes the head of human resources, reviewing resumes, and you are just another candidate begging for the job. But here lies the real power. While they compete, you observe. While they chase, you create. While they beg for attention, you generate curiosity. Because the man who understands the game never plays by others' rules. Look, if you're watching this, it's because you already sense there's something deeper here. Most will stick to superficial advice, but you stay because you recognize real strategy when you see it. Subscribe if you truly want to master this level of psychology, because what's coming next will completely change how you see the game. The difference between being chosen and being discarded isn't about being better than the others. It's about making her feel something that the other 9 don't even know exists. And that, brother, requires understanding the female mind from a perspective Machiavelli would have applauded. That feeling the other 9 can't create has a name in psychology: emotional anchoring. And here is the secret Machiavelli would have used to conquer hearts. It's not about being perfect, it's about being unforgettable. Ever wonder why she remembers the ex who made her suffer more than the one who treated her like a queen? Simple. Emotional intensity. The female brain doesn't store memories of lukewarm moments, it stores extreme emotions. And while the other 9 guys are trying to be the ideal boyfriend, you are going to be the experience she can't get out of her head. But be warned, I'm not talking about toxic drama, I'm talking about psychological depth. When the others tell her, "You're beautiful," you say, "There's something about the way you think that intrigues me more than it should." When they ask, "How was your day?" you observe her gestures and say something that reveals you truly see her. Here is the Machiavellian strategy. Create emotional security, not dependency. The others bombard her with constant attention, believing it generates attachment. Fatal error. Real attachment is born when she can be completely herself with you. No performances, no filters, no fear of judgment. Machiavelli wrote, "Men in general judge more by the eyes than by the hands." In seduction, this means she will judge you more by how you make her feel than by what you do for her. The gifts, the expensive dinners, the constant messages, all of that is hands. But making her feel seen, understood, and safe, that is eyes. Real scarcity isn't about being busy, it's about being selective. It's not about being difficult, it's about having standards. When she perceives that your attention is limited but deep, your presence becomes addictive. She can't get that feeling of authentic emotional security from just anyone. While the other 9 fight for time on her calendar, you occupy space in her mind, because a woman who has many options doesn't need another admirer. She needs the man who understands her inner world better than she does herself. Occupying space in her mind requires something the other 9 will never understand: authentic emotional strength. And here is the brutal Machiavellian reality. Emotional neediness is the scent of fear, and women can smell fear from miles away. Do you know the difference between a powerful man and a needy one? The powerful man responds. The needy one reacts. When she takes a while to reply, the other 9 panic. They double text, apologize for things they didn't do. You continue with your life because you understand something fundamental. Your value does not depend on her response. Machiavelli was clear about this. It is better to be hated for who you are than loved for who you are not. In the context of seduction, this translates into something revolutionary. It is better for her to reject you for your authenticity than to accept you for your performance, because the performance will crumble, but authenticity generates respect. Here are the practical strategies that separate the rare man from the crowd. First, selective availability. It's not that you don't have time, it's that your time has value. Second, thoughtful responses. While they respond on an emotional impulse, you respond from a place of mental clarity. Third, emotional independence. Your mood does not depend on her energy toward you, but the most powerful strategy is this. Create the fear of loss, not through cheap manipulation, but by genuinely being someone who can walk away. The other 9 cling to her because they are afraid of losing her. You generate attraction because you are not afraid of losing yourself. Female psychology works like this. She fears losing what she cannot completely control. When you are predictable, she controls you. When you are authentic and independent, she cannot. And that uncertainty generates an emotional adrenaline that becomes an addiction. Remember, power, authenticity, selective scarcity. These are the pillars we've built so far. But there is one final paradox that few men manage to understand. And it's the one that definitively separates the chosen from the discarded. That final paradox that separates the chosen from the discarded is brutal in its simplicity. The man who is willing to leave is the only one who gets to stay. Machiavelli knew it, and now you will too. While the other 9 cling on with their fingernails, begging for one more chance, you develop the most dangerous mindset that exists, the real ability to walk away. It's not a bluff, it's not manipulation, it's a conscious decision to value yourself more than any outcome with her. Do you know why this works? Because it violates all of her expectations. She is used to men who become more intense when she pulls away, who beg when she hesitates, who chase when she runs. But you do something that throws her completely off balance. You respect her decision, and you respect your own even more. Here is the practical implementation. When she cancels plans, you don't immediately reschedule. When she leaves you on read, you don't insist. When she shows disinterest, you don't intensify your game. Instead, you do something revolutionary. You live your life as if it is complete without her, because it is. The real power is in phrases like this. I only invest in people who invest equally in me. If that changes, I step aside. No drama, just clarity. It's not a threat, it's a standard. It's not an ultimatum, it's self-respect. The psychology behind this is devastating. When she perceives that she could lose you forever, her primitive brain activates all the alarms. FOMO, the fear of missing out on something valuable, becomes stronger than any other option she has. Because options are abundant, but men with true self-respect are scarce. Machiavelli wrote, "Whoever forsakes what is done for what ought to be done, sooner procures his ruin than his preservation." In seduction, this means whoever abandons his own value to win a woman guarantees losing her. The final irony is this: when you stop needing her to be happy, you become exactly the type of man she needs to be happy. Not admirer number 10, but the rare experience she can't replace with a simple swipe on her phone. She will always choose the man she knows she could lose. There you have it. The strategy Machiavelli would use to conquer hearts in the 21st century. While the other 9 compete, you conquer. While they beg, you choose. While they chase, you become what cannot be ignored. The difference between being just another option and being the option lies in understanding that real power doesn't come from being perfect, but from being authentic. Not from needing less, but from valuing yourself more. But here's the uncomfortable truth. 90% of people will watch this and change nothing. They will continue to compete, beg, and chase. If you are in the 10% that will actually implement this Machiavellian mindset, hit like and subscribe, because the next level of this psychological strategy is waiting for you. Remember, she doesn't choose the best candidate. She chooses the man who chose himself first.